lot of people know the history of Boston. They will know that like the Source magazine and Dave Mays, that
Yes.
really started in Boston, like Benzino.
Ooh.
So we have a hand in the New Edition coming from Boston. So R&B, this the image of R&B artists from New Edition. That all comes from Boston. Michael Bivins, the children groups,
Yeah.
as far as ABCD. So we're kind of blackballed because of the city that we're in. Like, I'm from the black part of it. I'm from Roxbury. I'm from where Malcolm X and Farrakhan come from. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have a serious culture there, but it's kind of covered because of the city that we're from. It's hard for me to explain to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it goes with sports too. It goes with sports too. Same thing goes with the Red Sox and the Yankees. You know what I'm saying? It's just the
Yeah.
city. That's
Yeah.
why most powerful black people, they have to leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes,
You have to
indeed.
leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's again, it's a great city, man. I've been there, and you did, like you said, you describe it well. It has a very strong, man, African American history, culture. Has a strong musical tradition. It's just and yeah, many people don't know the Source magazine was started at Harvard University, Cambridge, Massachusetts. You know,
Exactly.
and again, that's so it is definitely has been a major player in promoting hip hop. I would definitely say.
Just like a lot of people don't know Guru and Gangstar and everything comes from Mass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not Primo exactly, but Guru. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then
Right.
Edo G. Like Edo G's on the album I just put out, Boss Don. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
people didn't understand why I really did a song with Edo G. Edo G's a pioneer in hip hop. He's a pioneer for the city.
Yes, sir.
So that's why I did that too. And it's good that you know the history of Boston, because a lot of people don't know that, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was again, being obviously a New Edition fan back in the day. I remember they was from Boston, and then as always, what happens is when Mark Wahlberg came out, all of a sudden, then more emphasis was placed on Boston. And I'm like, wait a minute, they've been doing this, man. Boston's been, new kids on the block, and all of a sudden it was Boston, Boston, Boston. And I was like, well, man, Boston's been around. So
Yeah.
it's not surprising, because I said with the proximity to New York, and then people automatically, it just gets overshadowed, and a lot of people don't know Guru's from Boston. They assume because he so close with Premier that he's from New York, and in originality he's from Boston, man. So you touched on it a little bit, man, but I want you to tell me, so what was that defining moment, man, when you stopped being a like a consumer of hip hop and started working on yourself as an artist? When was that moment where you said, I'm an artist now? Tell me about that.
For me, actually, it was honestly from day one. You know what I'm saying? Once I heard hip hop, I started recording in my house, like flipping the tapes,
Yeah.
having one tape, one deck, and putting paper in the other tape and putting it in the other deck and flipping around. I've been doing this from day one and playing beats on the rolling and keyboard and shit. So I started recording in the house, already taking it serious as an artist, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
And I always had a passion. I just stayed down no matter what trials and tribulations I went through. And the older I got, the more I understand more about the music industry. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
now I'm sharpened. You know what I'm saying? I'm more polished as an artist. You know what I'm saying? I always been into music, and I always took it serious. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? And no matter what setbacks I went through, I stayed dedicated and always stayed committed to my craft, bro.
That's interesting that you say that too, because I think you have to be dedicated and committed to yourself as an artist, and it is not, Mike and shout out to Mike Oldfield, because Mike and I were talking about this. People love the end result. They love the fame. They love this and that, but the grind that it takes to get there, people don't always love. And it's you know what I'm saying? They don't always want to put in the work. No days off mentality. So it's interesting that you say
You gotta
that.
breathe, sleep this shit. Sleep, breathe and eat it.
Right. And to get really good at anything, you got to put in the time, and you have to be willing to do what other people won't do or don't do, so that's interesting. Before I forget, man, tell me about Iceburg Snub, man. How did you How did you come up with that name? Because the first thing I hear is Iceberg Slim. That's the classic. That's that classic, from that Pimpology Donald Goines novel. But how did you come up with Iceberg Snub?
Really, because, man, like you said, Donald Goines is the book. I just feel like, man, I'm a poet. I just feel like I'm dropping jewels. I feel like I'm telling real life stories. I'm telling my story. I'm from that environment. You know what I'm saying? I have children, young kings and stuff like that. So it's the way I'm delivering my message. I just feel like it's like a novel. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm telling a story. And then I'm slick with the game that I'm spitting. I'm spitting game too at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I'm dropping jewels. It's all mixed in. You know what I mean? So I broke my name down to an acronym so people could really understand. I didn't want you to think it was a gun or that I was trying to symbolize something like that. So it's strict nature, unity, and belief. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed. They're much needed.
I actually started a nonprofit organization for young boys called Snub Life, and it's strict nature, unity, and belief also.
Okay. That's what's up. Now, what made you move from Boston? You moved from Boston to a major hip hop city, major in the ATL. What made you move from there to Atlanta?
Well, Boston, like we said in the beginning of the interview, like it's really hard to get noticed in Boston. Like I did everything that I could possibly do in Boston, I still didn't get noticed. You know what I'm saying? I'm from one of the most historical neighborhoods and everything. I'm actually from Blue Avenue, like the movie. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually from Intervale Street, where Adidas Park is from, where the sneakers and the tree and everything come from. And it's still hard for me to get noticed in a city like that. There's no venues. There's nowhere for me to display my art. So it's like I had to come to a city where the market is more open. This is Black Hollywood, they say. Even if it wasn't for me to really get into what was going on out here in Atlanta, it was for me to bring what I've been doing in Boston out here to add to the culture, and for me to sharpen my sword, for me to get more gamed up. You know what I'm saying? So I can get more polished and add more to what I'm doing too. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be around people that are thriving. You got to be around people that are doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be stuck. I didn't want to be local. I said, even if things don't pan out the way that I wanted to be, let me give myself a real shot at this in a place where people are really doing music, if I take it serious. So I moved my family down here, and that's what it's been. I just been going hard, you know what I'm saying? Adding to the culture, keeping it Boston, not trying to get too involved in what they're doing, but add some sauce and bring what I got from my city to here. You know what I'm saying? And learn also. You know what I'm saying? You know, some people lose where they're from when they move somewhere. That ain't what I'm trying to do, because my city hasn't been noticed yet. We haven't had that light yet. I want to be that person to get it here and bring it back home, or to bring what I've done home here and mix it all in together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because this is a black city. Like I feel at home here when I hear New Edition on the radio. I hear them more on the radio here than I would hear in Boston. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Atlanta has been a, it's funny, years ago, before the big hip hop movement, it was just always, it was one of the chocolate cities. DC is probably the original chocolate city, but ATL always had that, it had just a strong, African American historical significance. Obviously, you have your HBCUs there, and then when hip hop hit, when you had Outkast and you had Organized Noise and all, then it just became a huge hub for hip hop talent creation.
Let me put this out there too. I didn't just move to Atlanta. I've been coming down to Atlanta since 2000. So I was actually down here when it first popped off. I seen the transformation. I was cool with DJ Jelly. I went by the Oop Camp stores. I was out here when on Franchise Boys and D4L stuff. I'm actually just coming back. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
permanently.
My city, I was already telling people what was going on in Atlanta. I'm really, even though I'm from up north, I grew up underneath the Southern culture hip hop, like the No Limits, the Cash Monies and stuff like that. So if you listen to my album, you hear I got Fiend from No Limit on there. I have Mr. Servo on there for No Limit. I have Hot Boy Turk from the Hot Boys on my album, even though I'm from Boston. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up at culture too. I never bought a Jay-Z album, even though I'm right next to New York. I've never bought a Jay-Z album, bro.
Wow, wow, yeah, that's interesting. Did you know, were you in contact with producers and other artists when you were kind of shuttling back and forth, and like you already had some
Glad,
association people you knew?
glad you said, big bro. I definitely was networking. I had already did that online. I had already did songs with artists. I had already sent features. I had already built relationships. So actually, when I moved out here, it was all about me pulling up in person. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying?
they
So
are new.
yeah, I had already connected dots a little bit. And I had already had certain artists on my project already and stuff like that. Some songs I had already did. People are just noticing now that I moved out here. And I'm like, yeah, I already did a song with the cat when I was back home. I'm glad you said that. So
Mm-hmm.
I was really utilizing social media, bro. I
Yeah.
was doing that. And then my networking in the street also. It wasn't just social media, me putting myself in the street. Like the album I have out right now, I have hard copies also. Like I put hard copies in the street, and I used to come out here before the seminars and pass out CDs. I really did the grind part, had posters around and everything before social media. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And you have to be, you and I talked about that again before the interview. You have to be willing to do that, and really market yourself. Obviously social media helps, but you have to be willing to do the legwork and market yourself. Now, let's get into, man, again, I heard a couple of your tracks and such, man, and talk to me about the production on your latest joint, man, and who was on the production, and kind of tell me about some of the artists you talked about a little bit, but elaborate on some of the artists you work with on your latest project, as well as the producers.
I same way with the artists, bro. I was already reaching out to certain producers, man. When I was back home, I got production from Young Land. I got production from Beast Mode. I got production from Doughboy in the Tracks. He's from Chicago. I got production from 808 Jack Boys. They're from Detroit. A lot of people they have jumped on the Detroit wave like they're supposed to because that's the Motown. You know what I'm saying? But I have already been messing with producers from Detroit for years, bro. For years, the same producers that a lot of cats are messing with now, including especially the 808 Jack Boys. You know what I'm saying? I had production from NPC Cartel, Kira Beats. These are major producers that work with a lot of industry artists, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I've been messing with them before they were kind of big. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like I was discovering cats online from SoundClick and all that and SoundCloud and shit like that. And I was just getting beats from them and shooting visuals for them. And they were sending me more beats just because they were seeing me being serious with the beats they were sending to me, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. How were
You know,
how has COVID, man, impacted your daily grind, man?
COVID has brought the best out of me. I've learned to engineer and everything. As long as I've been going to studio recording, I have never recorded myself, bro. I have went and got a setup here in the house, bro. Taught myself how to record, master, engineer, and everything, bro. I'm a machine right now. And I
Mm-hmm.
always said, I'm like, damn, if I ever get a setup like Wayne and them, I'm gonna be a problem when it comes to spitting out these songs, bro.
Right.
Because them dudes be in
Yeah.
their element, be in their zone. When you got it around you all the time, it brings the best out of you, bro. I got about 50 songs I recorded during this COVID. That's the main reason why I put the project out I just did. The project I just put out was actually a deluxe version for my album. I've already put out 22 records, bro, on the first album. The second one I gave people another 17 just because I felt like I wasn't putting out enough music, bro. Because I'm going through things trying to protect my family. I'm woke at the same time. So this COVID shit I'm taking a little bit serious. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
home and everything else like that. So I've been kind of on the fence, but I also want to give music to my fans too, bro. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I put Virgin out. But I got about 50, 60 songs I'm up in here recording and getting mixed and mastered right now.
So I mean, you got your current joint out. What are the plans? What are you gonna do with the music that you created, man? Kind of give me your next what's gonna happen next 6 to 8 months.
I'm about to drop a project called Trap Activist, bro. With all
Mm.
these songs that I've been working on during this COVID, bro, it's gonna be something serious. Real talk, it's gonna be real grimy too because the sound that I have from recording in my crib, I love it, bro. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
like the raw sound. You remember how Wu-Tang when they first came out,
Oh,
like with
yeah.
Dust on the record, I love the raw hip hop sound. And just me recording in my house, it has a customized sound that I'm feeling right now, and I can't wait till everybody hears it, bro. Seriously,
Hmm.
bro.
So what's the best way, man, for people? Again, you have you have your followers, man, but what's the best way for people to stay in contact with you and what you're doing and, get the drop on when you release new stuff?
Really, IG, man. I'm not social media savvy, but I'm learning, bro. But Instagram is the best way to get in contact with me, bro. And everything Iceberg Snub. Just Google everything Iceberg Snub. IcebergSnub. Never with an E. No, never spell iceberg with an E. Always with a U.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. When you drop your next joint, man, definitely come back on the show so we can chop it up about that, man. But, appreciate your time, man. Best of luck to you in the future, man. All your future endeavors as well, man.
Thanks, man. Same to you, bro. Appreciate the interview and everything, man. Peace and love and more blessings to you and your family, man.
Yes, sir.